Every day, there are people making West Michigan a better place, performing acts of kindness, never expecting anything in return. Tonight on Fox 17, we honor our Persons of the Month for 2020. One of them will be named Pay It Forward Person of the Year and receive $2,500 from Lake Michigan Credit Union. Our nominees aren't the only ones doing good around West Michigan. We'll share inspiring stories of people being generous and compassionate in a year that challenged everyone. Fox 17 and Lake Michigan Credit Union present the Pay It Forward Awards.
Thanks for joining us tonight for this special edition of Fox 17. I'm Derek Francis.
And I'm Janice Allen. During the next hour, we'll be bringing you stories of people from around West Michigan who make it their focus to help others and make our community a better place.
And we'll also be naming our 2020 Pay It Forward Person of the Year, who was specially chosen from our Persons of the Month that were featured here on Fox 17 throughout the past year.
But first, we wanted to give you a little bit of history on the Pay It Forward movement here at Fox 17 and why it's so near and dear to our hearts.
Tired of bad news? So are we.
Making a change to make a difference. It's what started the Pay It Forward movement at Fox 17 back in 2010.
We've decided to focus on the positive in West Michigan. We call it Pay It Forward.
We started by asking our own team members to get out and volunteer more, while also highlighting the good that's happening around us every day. People stepping up, raising money and awareness in their communities, and jumping in to help others in need. Whether it's as simple as buying a stranger's coffee or as selfless as donating a kidney to a neighbor.
Thank you.
For the past 10 years, we have shone a light on those who make West Michigan a better place for all of us to live.
As a TV station, we have, so to speak, a megaphone. We have the opportunity to share stories of people doing extraordinary and good things that really have a positive impact on the community.
And as the world has changed dramatically in the last year, one thing hasn't: our commitment to finding these positive stories and honoring those who inspire us, one good deed at a time.
And we hope by sharing these stories that you too may be inspired to do positive things as well for others around you.
And as part of Pay It Forward for the past several years, we've had a special gala where we bring all of our Persons of the Month together, along with community members, where we have a lunch, talk about all the positive news out there, and reveal our Person of the Year. Of course, as you can tell right now as you're watching, this time around we have decided to switch things up and reveal that winner here on TV for the very first time. That winner, in fact, will receive a $2,500 prize from Lake Michigan Credit Union, which has been involved with the Fox 17 Pay It Forward efforts for years now.
The company is no stranger to helping others in the community. Here's their Chief Marketing Officer, Don Bratt.
Good evening. Thank you, Fox 17, for your commitment to West Michigan by providing the Pay It Forward program and for bringing us all together today, even if it can't be in person this year, to honor those who have paid it forward in our local communities. I'm Don Bratt from Lake Michigan Credit Union, and on behalf of LMCU and our over 487,000 members and 1,300 staff, we are privileged to be the signature sponsor of the Fox 17 Pay It Forward event. Mother Teresa once said, "Love is not patronizing, and charity isn't about pity. It is about love. Charity and love are the same. With charity, you give love. So don't just give money, but reach out your hand instead." At LMCU, paying it forward is a concept we strive to live every day, and Mother Teresa's wise observation mirrors what our team of employees demonstrates when they reach out and serve in the communities in which we are located. LMCU even provides every staff member with 1 day of paid time off a year to serve the nonprofit of their choice. While 2020 has been a challenging year to serve in person, our staff enjoys the opportunities they have to serve and come away enriched and blessed by their experiences. We are very proud of our team's community efforts. Sandy Jelinski, our CEO, likes to say, "We always need to do what's right for our members." And that is why our mission is to serve our members by helping them earn more and pay less. Oftentimes, this makes a difference that can result in a single mother with young children living in a one-bedroom apartment to now be able to afford a starter home and live a happier life. Or help someone qualify for a low-interest car loan so they can afford a reliable car to get to and from that new job they've worked so hard to achieve. Every day at LMCU, I see seemingly little things that truly make a big difference in someone's life. There are many unmet needs in every community, many people that are unseen. That's where the exceptional people we are honoring today come in. They're in the spotlight because they sought to meet the unmet needs by using their God-given talents to reach out a helping hand. We applaud their compassion, their love, their dedication, their insight, their thoughtful creativity, and we're excited to celebrate the humble work they have done to make a difference and improve the lives of those in our communities. So on behalf of Lake Michigan Credit Union, we want to thank each of the nominees for their special and unique work to improve the lives of the people they impact, and also thank Fox 17 for organizing this worthy event. Thank you.
And Don, thank you for that. Later tonight, we'll be unveiling our 2020 Pay It Forward Person of the Year.
Stick around for that indeed, but first, here's a short look at all of our nominees.
Just for a child to notice a need and then come up with a plan to respond to that need is pretty spectacular, especially for a 5th grader.
We try to do what Jesus would do, and I emphasize that to them, that we are feeding the least of Christ's children, so we better do it well.
We're breaking bread with people, and in our case it's burgers and fries and chicken tenders, but at the end of the day, we're happy to do it.
When they jump around and play, watching that is my satisfaction. That's all I need every time.
They get loved and I get loved in return, so everybody wins.
Every day I would just think about the children's hospital and the kids. It just I wasn't gonna quit.
I'm hoping to keep this going for another 10, 20 years.
The credit due is for everybody out there that are working more than 8 to 12, 16 hours a day to keep us healthy and keep us safe. And this is my way of just showing my appreciation.
It was something that people needed, and I had the ability and the resources to make them. We were able to donate over 30,000 masks and counting.
It just made me feel good to be able to help out.
Everyone has a cause. Knowing my mother had dementia, well, this is my cause.
Knowing that we can help other people in a time of such need is really what keeps me going.
So many great stories. Of course, we'll have a more in-depth look at all of our nominees. But first, we wanted to say that 2020 was a tough year. That's not an understatement, Eric.
Yeah. And we continue to deal with the pandemic. Those on the front lines remain heroic every single day on their jobs, helping us in the fight against COVID. But there were also plenty of others who also lent a hand, especially during the early days of the virus coming to Michigan.
If we don't have them, what's going to happen? We need to do everything we can to protect them right now.
And in March, when there was an immediate need for personal protection equipment in hospitals, some local dentists, with the help of volunteers, stepped up and collected extra supplies from the community to go towards helping protect medical workers on the front lines.
Those N95 ones are the good ones.
That drive alone ended up bringing in around 17,000 masks, along with more than 100,000 gloves and other supplies like zip-down gowns. One thing we saw a real shortage of early on was hand sanitizer. To help increase the supply, a lot of West Michigan businesses stepped in to start making it, including Wiseman Distillery, which donated dozens of gallons to first responders around the state. Founders Brewing and Long Road Distillers teamed up to produce sanitizer as well. And Amway stepped up its production to pump out hand sanitizer to help replenish supplies at Spectrum Health.
I was asking them how to pay for it, and one of their senior leaders came back and said, "Don't worry about it. We're gonna give it to you."
Let's not focus on what is lost. Let's focus on making history right now, rewriting history.
That's exactly what a mother-daughter duo from Metro Detroit did. As the need for medical workers grew with the early surge of COVID, the pair took online classes to earn their temporary nursing certificates so they could jump in and help where needed.
It's really just about how people can change their attitude from one of fear to one of helping. And we were looking for something like that to do.
But it wasn't just the medical field where people rallied to help. We also saw heroes helping others in their communities, like Linda Scott, who went shopping for older and vulnerable residents so they didn't have to go into stores, then delivered their groceries to them free of charge. And little Everly Schuster, who started making bread with her grandma to give out to people after noticing the shelves at stores were empty.
It's important because
a lot of people need help.
And at the Clark Retirement Community in Grand Rapids, residents there were given extra cheer by total strangers who wrote them letters to lift their spirits while visitor restrictions were in place.
California, Arizona, here in Michigan, people have been sending letters from all over.
The thought of her sending this to, or giving this to me and doing it for me, you know, it's a feeling of love that she has for people.
Here they all are. I wouldn't throw those away for anything.
And a nursing home in Belding, also impacted by visitor restrictions, got some extra support from Max, the black lab.
I wish they all could be California.
And in Walker, Gary Saronin managed to get people out of their homes into their backyards.
I enjoy music. I enjoy playing music. Been working so hard.
Putting on a quarantine concert from his deck.
Hello, neighbors.
And the response?
Hang on, Snoopy. Snoopy, hang on.
Neighbors coming together from afar, even if they didn't know the words.
Here, you know this one? You want the...
Yeah, the tough times really bringing out the best in a lot of people. Of course, Derek, another thing that was very different in 2020, the holiday season.
Indeed it was. And while small gatherings and social distancing were the norm still, that didn't diminish the Christmas spirit. And in 2020, Wamha Farms and volunteers made sure that holiday cheer was shared with those serving our country. In fact, they sent more than 370 Christmas trees to 3 different military bases as part of the annual Trees for Troops event, which is part of a national effort. And one of the volunteers who loaded up those trees for the deliveries served in Vietnam himself and said it's a small thank you that makes a big difference to those in the military.
I got a Christmas tree in Vietnam. We put it in our mess hall and decorated it, and we were dumbfounded to have a real Christmas tree in country there.
I think for them, number one, it lets them know that they're not forgotten by us. I don't want to get all emotional, but we are so thankful for our military.
Yes, we are. Each tree purchased and donated by community members, businesses, farms, and nurseries, and included a note with messages like thank you or maybe Merry Christmas. In fact, this was the 15th year that Wamha Farms participated in that Trees for Troops event.
Santa also had to make some adjustments for Christmas, but still managed to bring lots of smiles for the holidays. That included to kids at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, where he and Mrs. Claus visited kids virtually in their rooms. Santa also stopped by the NICU and spent time with some of West Michigan's smallest residents there as well. For a few years now, a couple in Grand Rapids has been making sure there is representation for the holidays. A counselor started dressing up as Santa and Mrs. Claus after Paulette took a Facebook poll and learned that many kids have not seen a black Santa.
We're trying to become a more diverse world, and all kids from young were taught, that and not in a racist scene at all, that, all Santa Clauses were always white.
Now, because of COVID, the counselors had their display outdoors so kids could still visit and social distance. Volunteers also helped put together special gifts for them to take home.
Now, as we mentioned at the top of the program, each month we recognize someone who goes above and beyond in their community, recognizing them as our Pay It Forward Person of the Month.
And later on, we will name one of them as our Pay It Forward Person of the Year. But first, Annie Satowski has a look at the nominees from January, February, and March.
Guys, it's no secret that teachers often use their own money to buy school supplies. But when their students have special needs, there are added challenges to what they can use.
January.
Okay, can you give me my side? Yes.
When it comes to inclusion, there were big lessons learned in Mrs. Strunk's classroom at Cedar View Elementary. Jayden Thompson was a classroom volunteer, interacting with students who have autism.
I like playing with them, and I like to help them. Sometimes I can get a little stressed out sometimes, and they just need some help.
She enjoyed her time so much, she wanted to give back and came up with a plan.
And I thought about it. And then I wanted to donate money for Ms. Strunk to buy stuff for their classroom. Books, sensory stuff, some of their personal needs, and basically anything else that she wanted.
With help from her parents, Jayden set a small goal of $100 for the cause and posted about her Pay It Forward project on Facebook. It surpassed that within the first hour, and she ended up raising $725 in a month and turned that into a stack of gift cards for Mrs. Strunk to use in whatever way she felt was best for the kids.
I was like, holy cow, like this could go so far. Being able to provide more games and paint and sensory needs, and we do a coffee cart, so buying some of the supplies for that, which is a great inclusive activity.
It made me feel very, very happy that I gave back to someone.
Just for a child to like notice a need and then come up with a plan to respond to that need is pretty spectacular, especially for a 5th grader.
February.
We couldn't do it without him.
And him is retired teacher John Pritchard. While he may not be in the classroom anymore, he still had a large impact on students.
And we're feeding 3-year-olds through 18-year-olds.
Spending multiple hours a week packing up meals and coordinating deliveries so kids in Coopersville wouldn't go hungry.
And this week we're doing 143 per day, so it's a little over 700.
John, known to others as Mr. Pack It Up, had been running the Pack It Up program in Coopersville for more than 5 years, making sure that hundreds of students won't eat their last meal of the day at school.
I think over 40% of our children qualify for free or reduced lunch at school, and that is income-based.
He says during his 25 years in teaching, one kid in particular stood out to him.
He came to school every day and we'd all have lunch, and he didn't. And so I would pack a lunch for him.
The lunches John and volunteers put together are full of healthy snacks like nuts, granola bars, and fruit. Food that's fueling minds and changing lives.
Because we tried to do what Jesus would do. He said, feed my children, feed my people. And that's what we're working at.
I am blown away. John exhausts me. All the things he does and the way he's constantly going, you can see that he has a heart for serving, and he's not going to let anything but death stop him.
March.
The kids have asked how old we are, and our question back to them is, well, how old do you think we are? So we've been everything from 56 to 102. And it's fun.
So fun. Mike and Carol Betts have been volunteering at Meadowbrook Elementary in Grand Rapids for years. They started when their granddaughters were in 2nd grade and stayed well after they left and went to high school.
They give our kids that good grandparent love that they need.
Grandma and Grandpa Betts, as they're called, were visiting each Thursday, along with Carol's service dog, Gamma, spending an hour with the students, talking with them and listening to them read.
I don't get scared and then I just start reading. It's fun because we get to ask them if we can pet Gamma.
The thing that I really enjoy the most is being able to observe the improvement and the development of these kids as readers. Along with interpersonal communication skills, reading is the most essential skill that a child can develop, and if they don't, they're going to be lost.
It probably works both ways. They get loved and I get loved in return, so everybody wins.
Their volunteer work was put on hold with school closures due to the pandemic. And sadly, Gamma is no longer around. But the Bettses say she loved those kids. If you'd like to help with any of our winners' efforts, we have information on how to do that at fox17online.com.
All of our monthly winners receive $300 from Lake Michigan Credit Union, so a big thank you to them. We'll have a closer look at our nominees from April, May, and June in just a little bit. In the studio, Annie Satowski, Fox 17 News.
Fantastic, Annie. Thank you. The Bettses not the only ones inspiring kids to read.
Over in Battle Creek, they got a little bit of motivation from someone on their level.
Hi, boys and girls, and welcome back to Reading with Savannah.
That is Savannah Feltner. She started posting videos online at the start of the pandemic, reading books and inspiring other kids to do the same. She was in the 4th grade at the time at Ann J. Kellogg Elementary and said she got the idea from her teacher, who was also turning pages online.
Your teacher can sit there and read you a book, but when you see your peer doing it, it's a lot more motivating. And when they call you out and they're like, hey, challenge for you, now you do it. I was like, yes, Savannah, like, you go, girl.
I've been reading books to little kids so they could focus on the good in the world and not the negativity.
That is so important. Savannah said that she hoped that her reading helped inspire kindness in others as well. You can find her videos on YouTube by searching Reading with Savannah. And while it was a bit of a disappointing end to the year for the Forest Hills Northern class of 2020, they definitely turned it into a positive. After raising money for their senior all-night party, it ended up being canceled due to COVID, but instead of refunding money, they donated $17,000 to the Forest Hills Education Foundation to help with virtual learning for the new school year. The students also donated $2,000 to Kids Food Basket.
Happy birthday, Henry.
One thing we saw a lot of at the height of the pandemic, special birthday parades and surprises for those who missed out on typical celebrations. That's pretty much everyone at this point. That included a little boy in Rockford named Henry, who was supposed to be on a cruise for his big day, even swim with the dolphins. But of course, when COVID prevented that from happening, you see there Michigan State Police from the Rockford Post stepping in, driving down the street, lights and sirens blaring to make sure everyone knew he was the star of the day. Love that. And speaking of stars, one officer in Grand Rapids ended up becoming one himself thanks to TikTok and some imaginative siblings. Back in August, Officer Allison Colden was a responding officer to a call on Watkins Street when a group of little girls went over and asked if they could teach Colden how to dance. The officer agreed. Her moves posted on TikTok, where they got plenty of attention.
We just taught her like power part. So we taught her the first part was Savage Love. Did somebody, and then when she got that, we taught her the second part, then the third part, and then we put it all together.
She know how to do it now.
Communities can get along with the police if they take the time to know them instead of judging.
Yeah, children say Officer Colden's gesture helped give them a new idea about police, especially in such trying times. Meanwhile, the Grand Rapids Department says Officer Colden represents what their department strives for when it comes to establishing important and lasting relationships with everyone in their neighborhoods. Well, back now to our nominees for Pay It Forward Person of the Year, that recipient chosen from our Person of the Month winners.
They have all gone above and beyond in their communities, asking for nothing in return. Our Doug Reardon has a look back at the nominees now from April, May, and June.
Derek, Janice, cystic fibrosis is a life-threatening genetic disease that causes mucus to build up in the lungs and digestive system. It has no cure and continues to impact families around the world and here in West Michigan. That's why one local woman has made it her mission to raise awareness and money for research.
April. And that's something Michelle Ripley has continued to do despite the pandemic.
Basically, with these interesting times, we've been getting a lot of requests for help with rent and help with mortgages. Utilities is a big one that we've been helping with.
And she's helping with the Friends and Families of Cystic Fibrosis, a charitable organization she started after volunteering with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for years, starting back in the early 90s. Her 501c3 is all volunteer-based, and its signature event, Bid for Bachelors and Bachelorettes, has brought in some serious cash for the cause.
In the last 5 years, we've raised over $500,000, and I've been doing this for about 23 years, so I'm assuming it's up in the $1 million range. We do things like care packages for kids when they're hospitalized. We pay medical bills, you name it, we do it. We help with rent, with mortgage, utilities, medicines, gym memberships, transportation, pretty much anything that they need.
And while Michelle doesn't have a personal connection to CF, she's connected with many families affected by it over the years. And she says it's those relationships that continue to inspire her.
What they deal with on a daily basis and the struggles that they deal with basically helps my passion to keep this going and helping them.
May.
It's not great having to lay off all of your employees.
But like many small business owners during the pandemic, Landria Christman had to make some tough decisions while her doors were shut during the stay-at-home order.
Since I have a background in public health, specifically in hospital epidemiology, this has been a weird crossover for me with my business and my degree.
So after operating the Sassy Olive in Allegan for 6 years, she made some moves, shifting from making headbands to sewing thousands of masks to help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
My original goal was to make like 2,500 masks and be able to donate them to healthcare workers in need. And that quickly got out of hand, and we got over 10,000 requests in the first day and a half.
And it didn't stop there. With more orders coming in, Landria took to social media and put out a call for volunteers to help.
My mom and I both are sewers, and we saw Sassy Olive's post, and I was like, Mom, we need to do this. This would be really cool. This is amazing. I'm really thankful to be a small part of it.
While the masks weren't surgical grade, they were based off CDC guidelines and went a long way to protect frontline workers and others during the early days of the pandemic.
We were able to donate over 30,000 masks and counting. So that to me is a significant amount of people that we've been able to help and hopefully try and make a dent and stop the spread of COVID-19.
June.
We like to say we run a good party.
But this was a different kind of party with the number of COVID cases going up and people losing their jobs. The Garage Bar in Grand Rapids, which had to close at the time, decided to step in and help those struggling to put food on the table.
We partnered with a bunch of great groups, Car City, Mercantile Bank, Pioneer Construction, Custer, and a couple others, and basically raised about $30,000. And we said, well, how many meals can we serve?
The program, called Garage Bar Cares, launched in March with the goal of 100 meals a day for 30 days.
You know, come on in, get your food, and, they came in droves.
But each time Governor Whitmer extended the stay-home order, owner Kevin Farhat says they also extended the program.
We're breaking bread with people, and in our case, it's burgers and fries and chicken tenders, but at the end of the day, we're happy to do it.
A win-win of sorts, feeding the community while keeping his staff working.
When you're serving 100 free meals a day, you need servers to serve it, cooks to cook it, dishwashers to do the dishes, and somebody to run it. So it kept us busy pretty much the whole time.
An effort that didn't go unnoticed.
A lot of people just wrote letters and notes, and little girl wanted to give her piggy bank money and that kind of stuff, so it's kind of cool. Looking back on it, it's just a nice thing that we could help out.
They fed thousands of people in 2020. Remember, local restaurants can now use your help as the pandemic continues. For more information on the Garage Bar or to support the Sassy Olive or Friends and Families of Cystic Fibrosis, just head to fox17online.com.
And all of our persons of the month were given $300 from Lake Michigan Credit Union. We'll reintroduce you to our nominees from July and August as well as September a little later in the show. For now, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Doug, two necessities, masks and food. You got to love that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, plenty more to come here on our Pay It Forward special as we honor those who help others. Still to come, a mission trip turning into a whole new mission for two moms in Rockford. How they're helping women and children thousands of miles away with the boutique right here in West Michigan.
And as we get closer to revealing our 2020 Pay It Forward Person of the Year, we wanted to check in with our past winners. We'll see what they're up to these days coming up.
If you know someone making a difference in our community, let's connect. Go to fox17online.com/payitforward to nominate them to be the Lake Michigan Credit Union Pay It Forward Person of the Month. If chosen, we'll showcase their story on our news. Pay It Forward with Lake Michigan Credit Union and Fox 17.
Welcome back to our Pay It Forward Awards show. It is time now to introduce our next three candidates for the Person of the Year.
Yeah, our Mike Avery joining us now with how the nominees for July, August, and September are making West Michigan a better place.
Derek and Janice, when Tanya Henry realized her son wasn't getting the kind of peer-to-peer interaction he needed, she came up with a solution, not just for him, but for other young adults with disabilities.
July. Let's just start throwing parties because he needs a social life. And that's what really made me do it, is to give him a social life.
Tanya's son, Michael, has a rare condition called Cornelia de Lange syndrome. It's a developmental disorder that can result in slow growth, along with bone and intellectual deformities.
Young adults with disabilities do not have that chance to go online and say, hey, I want to go here on Friday, here on Tuesday. They don't have that outside of school.
So she started Linnea's World Center, a nonprofit that offers free social events for young adults with special needs. They've held a pajama jam, barbecue bash, a masquerade ball, and in the summer, a Movies in the Park event featuring The Wizard of Oz. The events are usually held quarterly with around 100 to 150 regular attendees.
When they jump around and play, watching that is my satisfaction. That's all I need every time.
Thanks to a partnership with Keystone Community Church in Ada, Linnea's mission recently expanded to include job training and hospitality certification, all to improve the lives of young adults with disabilities.
Everyone's taking their disability where we at Linnea's World want to make that an ability.
August. Scott Kuderick is known as the Cookie Monster for baking more than 5,000 of the treats for frontline workers, an idea he got from his good friend Chef Jenna of Amore.
In mid-March, she started making meals for hundreds of frontliners. It just kind of made me get inspired, like, what can I do?
The answer?
Who doesn't love a cookie?
He bakes 2 days a week.
I should own stock in Betty Crocker, that's for sure.
Then bags up and drops off the cookies each Friday.
St. Mary's, several of their medical buildings, St. Mary's Hospital.
It's a lot of effort, but Scott doesn't see it that way, not when compared to what frontline workers are going through.
The credit due is for everybody out there that are working more than 8 to 12, 16 hours a day to keep us healthy and keep us safe. And this is my way of just showing my appreciation.
And he's happy to keep showing his appreciation.
Until we find a cure and we're going to be maskless and we're going to be safe to be in society. It's always going to be needed. It always brings a smile to somebody.
September. There's more than one meaning for the B in B Foundation. B for believe and B for Belding, because for Michaela Linebaugh, Belding is home. It's where she's coached high school volleyball for nearly 20 years. During that time, her teams often held fundraisers for national cancer organizations.
We used to raise about $1,200 and send it away to a foundation called Dig Pink, which is great, but I always wondered where that money went. My dad was diagnosed in 2011 with leukemia, and it just made me think about where was that money going when there's people in our community that need the help.
That's why she started the B Foundation, to support families affected by cancer, families in Belding.
All of our money stays local. That was one of the things that was near and dear to my heart, that I wanted it to stay here in Belding. We thought maybe we could help a few families, and we've definitely done that. We have raised over $500,000.
Just a few days after she launched the nonprofit, Michaela's dad died of cancer.
I know he's proud. I know that he's taught me to always give back and to help those in need.
It's kind of the way to keep him with me at all times. But really just knowing that we can help other people in a time of such need is really what keeps me going.
If you're interested in finding out how you can help support Linnea's mission or the B Foundation, head to fox17online.com. All of our Persons of the Month received $300 thanks to Lake Michigan Credit Union. Any one of them could be awarded Person of the Year tonight. We'll have our last 3 nominees later on in the show. For now, Mike Avery, Fox 17 News.
That's right. Anyone, but they are all very well warranted. Thank you, Mike. When it comes to helping others, one man along the lakeshore has really brought the idea full circle. Frank Wilson, just 23 years old when he was dropped off at the Holland Rescue Mission after dealing with a drinking problem. While it wasn't easy sticking around and confronting his demons, Frank eventually did just that with the help of the mission. And now he's been on the payroll for more than 35 years, taking charge of the whole kitchen, coordinating donations and hundreds of volunteers as the Mission Food Service Director, showing those who come through the door that you can turn things around.
Frank really is the example of how you can go from homelessness to employment, to savings, to paying your bills, to acquiring a home, a car, and a family. If I called him at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, I need help, he would jump out of bed and say, where are you? I'll come get you.
It's something to be able to give hope and extend that hope out to people that are in need, and pull up alongside them and help them and love them and care about them, no matter what their circumstance.
So generous. Holland Rescue Mission serves 3 meals per day, and they've been helping those affected by homelessness, get this, since 1903.
Doing a lot of good work there, Derek, thanks. You may have heard of the phrase to really give of oneself, and a radio personality in West Michigan really took that literally. In early December, Eric Zane, well known from the Free Beer and Hot Wings show, flew out to LA to give a kidney to one of his old friends from school. The whole process started a few months earlier when Eric reached out to his friend Jeff on social media. After a few conversations, Eric found out about Jeff's failing kidney. And after talking it over with his wife, he decided to give him one of his.
I was like, well, I can't let him die. I mean, can you, I thought to myself, because if Jeffrey would have eventually have died, and I would have said, you could have done this. Yeah. It never occurred to me ever. I'd never dreamed of that. I guess when you're just faced with it, I think that people are very, very good. And I think that a lot of people would do this. I really do.
Well, kudos to him for doing that. And his selflessness did not end there. Just a couple of weeks after donating that kidney, he helped to raise enough money to help buy and organize a food drive to feed 100 families for Christmas. One group that's well known for helping others is Lori's Voice. It was founded in 2011 by Dave Hastings and his wife Lori, who was diagnosed with a form of muscular dystrophy as a child. Over the years, they've helped to raise lots of money to help those with mobility issues. And in early January, with the help of Clock Mobility, they helped to give an accessible van to a family in Hudsonville, helping out their 13-year-old daughter, Annabelle, who suffers from a traumatic brain injury. The new vehicle will help make getting to school and appointments a whole lot easier.
That they have all of the necessities so then they can go and do family things, and someone doesn't have to stay home, you know, with our kiddo in a wheelchair because they don't have the right vehicle. So now they can go as a family.
And that's the best part. To date, Lori's Voice has helped give out more than 70 accessible vans. Last February, they reached a major milestone, celebrating $1 million in grants to help kids with special needs. If you'd like to help out their efforts, we have more information at fox17online.com.
As always, so many great choices this year. We are getting closer, however, to revealing the Fox 17 Lake Michigan Credit Union Pay It Forward Person of the Year.
Yeah, competition is always stiff, Derek, but here's Sarah Grimmer with a look at our final 3 nominees.
Derek and Janice, stretching from Georgia to Maine, the Appalachian Trail is the world's longest hiking-only trail. And Patrick Camp, he hiked all 2,193 miles of it, raising money every step of the way.
October. Patrick's daughter Lily was 2 when she was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, a rare type of cancer. Thanks to Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, Lily fought and eventually beat the disease in 2013.
I said to myself, okay, I've always wanted to do something to give back to this hospital. And when we got that news, I just said, okay, it's going to be the Appalachian Trail. That's what I'm going to do.
With everything he needed on his back, Patrick began the journey across 14 states. Each day was documented on YouTube, raising interest and money for his mission.
And there is the beginning, folks.
People watching my videos and, they would say, hey, I'm very inspired. I want to get out and hike. I want to do something for charity. I was hoping for 5,000 and it just kept going and just kept going. And then, I was like, wow, with the economy and everything that's going on, that just blew me away.
There were rewarding moments and grueling moments.
Every day I would just think about, why I was doing this. I would think about, the children's hospital and the kids. It just I wasn't gonna quit.
Patrick reached the end with a huge sense of accomplishment and a big check for the hospital.
This money can go towards finding new ways to cure neuroblastoma. $15,000 is a lot of money. It can help, a ton of kids in the hospital that are diagnosed with it. I'm very proud of my dad.
Whatever it is that you're raising money for, if it's close to your heart, then anything is possible.
November. Wendy Marble loves animals.
I've got 5 cats and a dog.
That's why she decided to use the bottles and cans she accumulated during the pandemic to help an area animal shelter.
Make something good come out of them.
After gathering what she had, Wendy threw out the idea on Facebook to see if anyone else was interested in helping.
That went crazy. I had people blowing up my phone. I had 50,000 cans at my house at one time.
That's when she enlisted the help of her best friend, Tama.
When she showed me the cans for the first time, I thought I was gonna pass out. Her whole garage was just full.
Although daily bottle return limits slowed them down a little, the money quickly added up.
First I thought, I'll get them 500. Well, that was nothing. 1,000 came up, then 15, then 2,000. I'm like, okay, I gotta get them this money.
Her first check to Mackenzie's Animal Sanctuary was for more than $2,500.
And then I thought, why am I stopping?
She raised more money for Mackenzie's, plus the Berry County Animal Shelter and 5 local cat rescues.
I actually went to pick up cans and got a cat and brought it home with me. My kids say you need an intervention, Mom, but I love it. I really love it. It just made me feel good to be able to help out.
December.
If you give me glue, look out. Give me glue and beads or paint in the pole, look out, because I'll be gone forever.
Art has always been a big part of Chris Waleskowski's life, but she didn't pursue it as a passion until she retired.
I kept saying, well, I'm a nurse, I'm not an artist. But if you want to create, you create. You get an enthusiasm in you and you start doing it.
After her mother was diagnosed with dementia, art became a way for the two of them to connect.
It gave her something to do. It gave her something to focus on. It gave her something to do with her hands.
Eventually, it became a way for Chris to raise money for Alzheimer's care, support, and research.
Everyone has a cause. Well, this is my cause.
Creating and selling custom garden poles and mosaics made of her mother's old costume jewelry and donating the money to the Alzheimer's Association at the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's each year. All of the supplies comes out of Chris's pocket, which means
if you give me a $50 bill, that $50 is going to the walk.
Although her mom is gone, art is still a way for them to connect.
I know she's with me. She's with me, guiding me, keeping me out of trouble.
If you're interested in supporting the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, Mackenzie's Animal Sanctuary, or the Alzheimer's Association, the information on how you can do just that is available at fox17online.com.
All of our Persons of the Month received $300 thanks to Lake Michigan Credit Union. We'll find out which one of them is Person of the Year coming up in just a little bit. But for now, Derek and Janice, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Sarah, thanks. Well, people around West Michigan are definitely making our communities better places. They don't just stick to the mitten.
Yeah, a lot of them often reach beyond state, even U.S. borders to help out others. That includes Stacy and Grace Connell. They're busy moms in Rockford who have 6 kids each. But after a trip to Haiti back in 2017 and realizing the ongoing devastation there years after that earthquake that killed more than 250,000 people, they decided they needed to do something to help out. So they started a boutique in Rockford called Espoir, or Hope in Haitian Creole. It's a volunteer-run store selling handmade items from recycled and repurposed goods made by Haitians to benefit Haitians.
We sell a lot, mostly for women and children's kind of stuff. So everything from bags to jewelry to little dolls,
metal art, ornaments. During the winter months, we get to sell some really cool metal art that's made out of like the old oil drums that are shipped to Haiti.
Support in ways we never would have guessed
at all.
But people literally have come from all over the place, walked in our store and been like, we want to support you.
I have a passion for women and she has a passion for kids. So it really worked out on a different kind of level. We have different passions, but we ended up bringing them together doing this.
Yeah, hard to believe how long it's been now. They're still dealing with the after effects in Haiti. A great gesture by the local ladies here. So far, they've raised tens of thousands of dollars, have helped more than 100 people directly, although the indirect impact is even much more than that. The sisters, in fact, are planning to switch to an online store in the coming weeks, partly due to the pandemic, but they say the mission will stay the same, and they say they would love to go back to Haiti again one day soon. Who can forget that? That's so fantastic what they're doing. Over the years, Fox 17 has recognized only 6 people in West Michigan as our Pay It Forward Person of the Year. And tonight, of course, we'll learn who our 2020 winner is. Janice?
Yeah, it's exclusive company. But first, we wanted to take a look back at what our previous winners have been up to. We found out how some use their prize money to do even more good and how others are still paying it forward despite the pandemic. 2014 brought our very first Pay It Forward Person of the Year in Nancy Johnson, a food services worker at Tri-County Schools who started a program to fight childhood hunger in her district. The MAC baskets, as they're called, are packed full of healthy snacks to help keep students full when school's out.
Well, I have been continuing with that program up until last March when the schools shut down.
But Nancy is still busy on the job.
In a way, I'm still providing the meals. I'm just providing them through the district instead of doing it through the MAC basket program.
And still busy finding ways to help feed the hungry.
I was able to provide food trucks. So I did 8 food trucks in April and May. And those were through the United Way of Ayotte and Montcalm County.
2 more were planned for this month, and when schools reopen as normal, Nancy says the MAC baskets will be ready to go again as well. Families and kids in her community grateful for all of this winter's hard work.
The best part is that when I was in one of the elementary schools, and those little kids, they go, "You were on TV." They just thought it was amazing that they knew somebody that was on TV. So that was sort of neat to have the kids come up and say something to me.
Rick Ayotte nabbed our award in 2015 for all of his various volunteer efforts helping those with special needs. From running to help disabled athletes with My Team Triumph to helping kids hit the field and play ball with the West Michigan Miracle League.
I was still doing pretty much everything.
But this year, the pandemic paused many of Rick's activities, something that's been tough on him and so many others.
That's been the hardest thing for me is I know these families are, they're shut in all the time anyway. And this was maybe their only release.
As for all the extra time he has on his hands now?
Oh, well, I've discovered there's another person living in the house, so I see my wife a lot more.
And he's looking forward to getting back to volunteering as soon as it's safe.
For sure, My Team Triumph and Miracle League, I'll get right back in there and do everything I've loved doing.
Rick even donated his prize to help even more.
I donated it to all of the different charities that I worked with. That was nice to be able to do that. That felt good. It always feels good to give like that.
Our 2016 winner, Lisa Kober, was recognized for helping homeless students at Grand Haven High School. She started the Grand Haven Impact Program, providing basic necessities like toothbrushes, backpacks, and even prom dresses. Lisa says it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
There's a food pantry. Now they've dedicated a whole space for like clothes and all that good stuff.
It's also expanded to other schools in West Michigan.
I didn't think that it would go where it went at all. Obviously, I didn't even think that I would be pay it forward person of 2016, let alone, watching it grow. I know that there's been 3 or 4 other school districts that reached out shortly after it all aired, and they started programs within their schools.
The mother of 3 has now moved to Muskegon, but the Impact program continues on, now run by the school. And Lisa is still finding ways to help the homeless when she can.
I still make little baggies for the homeless people that I see on the street, with waters and doggy treats and snacks and stuff like that. So still kind of doing it, but from a little bit of afar.
Okay, so Marie, how have you been since we awarded you our Person of the Year?
I've been very well, thank you. Very good. And I kind of brag about that business, of course. That was quite special.
When we met 90-year-old Marie DeVries, our 2017 winner, she was busy driving and delivering meals to the elderly and homebound in Jenison, Granville, and Hudsonville. But after more than 2 decades of volunteering with the Sunset Retirement Communities and Services Meals at Home program, Marie tells us it was time to make a change.
I don't do it now anymore. I think I have put those 21 years in probably. And it was time for somebody else to do it.
Now 93, Marie is filling her time with hobbies like reading and gardening during the summer.
I felt blessed that I was able to do it. And I'm still able to drive the car, much to the reluctance of my kids, but so far so good.
She will be celebrating 94 in April, but still thinks fondly of her time delivering meals.
I miss those hugs that I would get from those people when they opened the door. They were always so glad to see me. I miss it very much.
Our 2018 winner inspired us all by selflessly launching a nonprofit to help young cancer patients while fighting stage 4 metastatic breast cancer herself. Amanda Goss created U2 to donate goodie bags to kids and NICU moms, bringing smiles during some of the toughest times in the hospital.
We just give them a bunch of stuff to play with, and they are so thankful and grateful, and that's what we're all about.
She says 2019 was their biggest year to date. That's what made it even tougher when the first delivery of 2020 was canceled just days before the drop-off due to COVID.
We had the bags all ready, and I had to package all the bags back up, and everything is back on the shelves. We're focused towards, bringing some type of joy in a very stressful environment, and so it was very sad that we couldn't do that in March.
But there is some positive news to report about Amanda's health.
I just had my routine scans and everything came back good. Everything is still stable, so that part is really good.
Amanda decided to use her prize money to fill and deliver more goodie bags, and she's ready to deliver for U2 again as soon as she gets the green light.
just the joy of, you know, people's reactions from when we dropped off our bags. That's what the real prize meant to me.
2019 brought our youngest person of the year to date, then 10-year-old Sawyer Hendrickson, a girl who's made it her mission to honor and help our troops and veterans after her brother enlisted with the Marines. Her biggest project, sending stockings to troops for the holidays, was busier than ever in 2020.
Because of COVID and everything's been canceled, but that doesn't slow down the process of us doing stockings and still sending out care packages. So we've had a lot more orders come in. We've had hundreds and thousands of more orders come in. And it's just putting in a lot of extra work to make sure that all the stockings get out to everyone.
When we spoke with Sawyer, she was at 9,000 stockings and counting. And she also managed to squeeze in 2 trips to Washington, D.C. last year, including one to Arlington National Cemetery in March for a special birthday project.
We went to go lay my 2,100 yellow roses, and we were going to do our wreath, but we couldn't because of COVID, and we were still happy enough to be able to still do our yellow gold star rose project.
Sawyer is looking forward to spending more time with her brother now that he is retired from the Marines and visiting Washington again this year for her 12th birthday. Not even 12 yet, and has accomplished so much. It was so much fun, Derek, catching up with all of our old winners, and just to see the variety there. Right. I mean, we had 90-year-old Marie, and then we had 10-year-old Sawyer. So many people that are just doing extraordinary things to help others.
Bookends, like you said, 90 to 10. And no surprise, all of them still helping out people because that's who they are indeed.
Yeah,
so
and
fantastic.
Hearing that so many of them use their prize money to help even more. I love to hear that.
Great look back.
Well, coming up, the moment is almost here. After the break, we'll see who will join that list of winners.
Stay tuned for our Person of the Year reveal coming up next.
If you know someone making a difference in our community, let's connect. Go to fox17online.com/payitforward to nominate them to be the Lake Michigan Credit Union Pay It Forward Person of the Month. If chosen, we'll showcase their story on our news. Pay It Forward with Lake Michigan Credit Union and Fox 17.
Welcome back. It is the moment that we have been waiting for, our Pay It Forward Person of the Year award.
So fantastic. This year we hit the road to surprise our winner. Here's a look at their reaction.
We are on the road this year to surprise this year's Pay It Forward Person of the Year.
Michaela Linebaugh started the B Foundation here in Belding to help families who are affected by cancer. So far, she's raised more than $500,000 for that cause, and we can't wait to surprise her. Here we go. Oh, hi! Hi! We have a surprise for you.
Okay.
You are actually our Pay It Forward Person of the Year.
I thought this was just a follow-up. Oh my gosh!
These are yours too.
Wow! Oh, you guys, I was not ready for this.
You are our Person of the Year.
Oh, wow. This is awesome. The foundation is the foundation of the year. That's how I'm feeling.
You did great.
Totally surprised, Michaela?
Yeah, well, somebody said, when are you going to find out anything? And I said, I don't know. They're doing follow-ups. Maybe I'm down to the finals. I don't know. So this is so awesome.
You're down to the finals, all right.
Oh,
you
my gosh.
So, yes. Eastern Floral provided this lovely bouquet for
Beautiful, beautiful.
Lake Michigan Credit Union is going to give you $2,500 in prize money, and we also have a lovely prize for you. I know your hands are awesome.
Oh, this is going to help so many families. That's what's so awesome about this is like, I feel like this is a win for the foundation and our committee and our town and all of the people. So I won't take credit. It takes a village, and I have the best committee that works with me, and the people are amazing, and I'm just floored right now. So,
oh,
congratulations!
Thank you. Oh, I'm sure my dad is smiling.
Yeah, you turned something bad into something unbelievably great.
Yeah.
We're so proud of what you did.
10 years after losing her dad and more recently her sister-in-law to cancer, the B Foundation has raised well over $600,000 to help families affected by the disease in Belding. And without hesitation, Michaela says this prize will go to help even more in her hometown.
I definitely want to donate it to the foundation. This is for the foundation. I couldn't do this without them, and I definitely want to help more people. So yes, I would love to give back to the foundation.
Michaela's generosity and tireless work for the B Foundation, inspiring us, her community, and hopefully others to pay it forward as well.
Even when you have something bad, try to find that silver lining. If you have a dream, go for it. I had this vision, and when I came back from the meeting over that I was invited to in Lowell, I had all these things running through my head, and who would have thought here we are 10 years later, so go for it.
Congratulations to her, Michaela. So deserving, Janice. Like we say every year, it's hard to believe you have to narrow it down to one choice.
I know.
They're all so deserving.
It was kind of fun surprising her on her doorstep, though, wasn't it?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
It was cold, but we had a blast indeed. Again, we'd like to thank Eastern Floral Lake Michigan Credit Union for helping us make that surprise extra special this year. To learn more about the B Foundation, you just heard about there, Michaela, or any of the other monthly winners, just head to fox17online.com and search the Pay It Forward section.
Congrats again, Michaela. She wanted to give a special shout out to her nominator, Eileen Hulleberger, for letting us know about what she does. Don't forget, that's also where you can go, fox17online.com, to submit a nomination for 2021. So if you know someone deserving, we want to hear all about them. If featured, they will win a $300 prize. We can't wait to share their stories as well. Thanks so much for watching this Pay It Forward special. Have a great night.